What's up, everybody? I'm Johnny Christ, and this is Drinks with Johnny. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. I'm really excited. I'm joined by a legendary drummer of Motorhead, Mikkey Dee. How the fuck are you today?
I am very good, thank you. Just got home, and I was stuck in traffic, so we're a little late on it, but here we are.
Here we are.
I'm all good.
Yeah. So let's get into some stuff. Like I know you've been of course of Motorhead, and we're gonna get into your whiskey here in a second. But I really wanted to talk to you. Like you're playing with the Scorpions now, right?
Yes, that's incredible. I mean, 5 years.
Wow.
Time's been flying, you know. Yeah, that's. If you asked me, I'd say 2 years, but it's 5 years.
Wow. And how did that? How did you guys meet? How did you become the new drummer of Scorpions?
Well, we knew each other since many years back. We crossed paths, festivals, shows. You know, we always knew each other, of course. Unfortunately, we never toured together. Not when I was in the band and with Motorhead. And I was over in LA putting Lemmy to rest at his ceremony on the funeral. And I got home and got a call, and they had a little bit of problems with James and asked me if I could step in as a kind of a safety deal in case it didn't work out, but it did work out, and he played very great, you know. So, but then later, it got into that they wanted to keep me. So,
well, that's awesome. So, do you guys have any shows, any of those festivals happening back in Europe and with the Scorpions? Or what's going on with them now?
Not that I know of, because of the Corona situation, you know. I know just a month ago, or 1 or 2 months ago, it was fairly bad here in Europe. Now restrictions start open up, same as in the U.S. What I understand, you know.
Yeah,
so
we're fairly open now. Yeah.
So I mean, but it's impossible to guess this shit. You know, it's very unfortunate, but. You know, because when we're gonna go out, it's like a big machine going out. It's a lot of planning, so we can't just top of a button hit the road. So
yeah,
we're just waiting right now for things to stabilize and maybe, you know, start booking us. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, speaking of touring, and you mentioned a couple festivals, one of my favorite ones out in Europe for big metal is the Rock am Ring and Rock am Park. What are some of your favorite memories of playing Rock am Ring and Rock am Park?
They're both great festivals and always good bands on there, you know. Great quality festival in Germany. Same as Wacken, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few really good metal festivals. Germany's good at festivals. So but Rock am Ring, Rock am Park. Rock am Ring is much bigger than the park. But everything is well organized. Great acts on the bill, you know, and
yeah.
So I really like it.
One of the times I was on Rock am Ring, I met Billy Idol. And it was I can't remember if it was Rock am Ring and Rock am Park. I get the two mixed up. The one that's on the racetracks. Because I went out and jogged on the racetracks before, and then came back and we played a show. And then, long story long, I was sitting there meeting Billy Idol, and after he was done, we played a game of pool. You remember they have the pool table back there. Did you have anybody that you played pool with back there?
Well, I wanted to play with Lemmy and Phil, but they never let me because I sucked. They didn't enjoy me playing it. I asked several times, hey, come on, let's play some pool. No, not with you. And they just walked off.
Well, were you trying to play a gentleman's game of 9 or like 8 ball?
I never really liked playing pool that much, and I beat him at everything else, but not pool.
Not pool. That was the one that they got you on. Well, let's get into this. So we got Hillrock right here. You
Yeah, there we go.
Gentlemanly, thank you so much for sending me this. We got the big case in the back there. I don't know if you can see it on your end.
I'll see it.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about this whiskey? It says it's 57% alcohol. Can you tell me about this?
It's a pretty strong one. Well, it's a great quality whiskey for sure, and it's a very limited edition, what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
But this has been targeted for U.S. basically. So I'm not the best guy to go through the procedure with this whiskey. Definitely, I was fairly surprised myself, but I know that we wanted to make a great whiskey again, because the whiskey we have been selling, that's finished now.
Okay.
The single malt.
Yeah.
There is no more of that one. And this one is a real class act, I'll tell you.
Well, I'm sniffing it. Do you have anything to drink right there? You're good to go.
I'm good.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and pour it in, and let you know what I think about it.
Right.
While I'm doing that, though, I wanted to ask. So you guys in Motorhead, Ace of Spades did the game. Triple H, you guys played him in a couple of times in wrestling. Are you a wrestling fan, or is it just Triple H and that was a thing for you?
No, I mean, I'm into a lot of sports.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing sports all my life, and Phil and Lem was not really into that much sports. They didn't practice a lot of sports, obviously, but with this wrestling thing coming around, me and Phil immediately realized what it was. Of course, I knew all about it.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it sometimes. I have to say I never went to any SmackDowns or anything, but when it was on television, I was watching it, and you knew all the characters, if you call them characters, but
yeah,
all the name, everything from Hulk Hogan's days, then. So, because us Europeans, we don't have this wrestling deal in Europe at all. I don't say it's not popular, because it is very popular, or became very popular, but at that time, it's kind of fake wrestling, people said,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so fake. But I tell you what, we sat next to these guys several times, ringside and backstage, and they are tough,
oh yeah,
athletic guys. I mean, they're being stitched up in the back, and they're back out on the floor, and they are so athletic. So they high sportsmen, definitely.
So yeah, you talk about how the guys are tough and everything like that. I mean, obviously they are. I'm good friends with a lot of wrestlers now. Like I'm a big fan.
Right.
Do you have anything from Triple H specifically? Like when you guys were playing him in, like what was that like for you?
Well, we didn't really know that scene much before. Obviously, we got into it, but Lemmy and Triple and myself and Phil, we became super good friends right away.
Awesome.
And especially Lemmy and Triple H. He's such a nice guy and such a really nice man, easy to love, and everybody on the tour treated us like rock stars.
Well, you are, by the way, in case you didn't know.
No, but they were really treating us fantastic when we came out, and they were all like, wow, we're so jealous. Triple has this song, and we played live on WrestleMania 17 and then 21, I believe it was, and it's not too many bands that done that.
No,
I know Kiss, I guess Aerosmith, or there's a few bands.
Like you said, there's just a handful, and you guys are one of them. I don't know if you remember, or you probably wouldn't, but we did a festival together in Japan. I remember because I was warming up, and you guys were playing. What are those called? Like sound Sound something.
Was it Loud Park or no?
It might have been Loud Park. It was probably in like 2015, I want to say.
Fiji Rock. So,
Or Sonosphere.
2015.
Maybe it was Sonosphere. I don't remember. It was one of those.
Was Foo Fighters on there as well?
I don't recall. It'd be better if I knew what I was talking about before I asked you, right?
Well, the last show we did there, I believe, was Foo Fighters were headlining.
Oh, you know what? Headline. Yeah. That was. I believe it was that one. Yeah.
And I believe that was like Fiji Rock or something.
Yes.
Up in the mountains a bit. Okay. It was a great. I had my family with me on that tour as well. So my two boys and my girls. So we had a great time in Japan. But that was the last time we were there as Motorhead.
That's well. You just mentioned your two boys and your girl. How old are they?
Well, now Max, the oldest, he's going to be 25, the 24th of May, and Marcus, he's going to be 19 in July 31st. So they're grown up now, you know.
Yeah. Oh, July 31st. That's Sinister Gates, our lead guitarist's birthday. No, wait. 31st.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
Sorry, that's Matt's birthday.
Oh, July.
I remember shit like this, right?
Yeah, I know.
So I'm smelling this right now. It smells like a really good bourbon.
It is.
That's nice.
It's very, very smooth.
Yeah.
And you can really taste the quality in that.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
No, that's a really nice. Where can everyone? Do you know where anyone can find the Hillrock stuff?
I believe it's online now.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know too much about it, so I was surprised that I was going to actually do this pod deal with you, but because I got sent one of these packages as well, and I know what we're doing,
mm-hmm.
but I had no idea with the final product and how everything was turning out, because some of these drinks and stuff that we have take forever to get cleared, and it's a lot of red tape and a lot of testing out, and so suddenly it's there.
That's awesome.
And you know, that was it's funny because a lot of fans they go, oh man, you're just milking money off Lemmy and the old Motorhead and stuff. And I can get really pissed off about that, because Lemmy's the guy that has actually worked for this.
Mm-hmm.
We are just keeping it alive.
Yeah.
He wanted a bourbon on the shelf as long as I can remember. And the wine and the beers and all the drinks that we actually do have has been carefully tested and approved by us. And we've been adding some, taking some off, and it's been going back and forth until we have been satisfied. And the rum has gone through the roof. You know, it's what's
the rum called? I'm not familiar.
It's a dark rum, and it's one of the best in the whole world now. We won several of the big competitions, if you will,
mm-hmm.
Gold medals, silver medals. So it's a really, really good one. I don't think you have it in the U.S. yet, but it's sold over 250,000 bottles already. So
I'll come to your house and find it, right? I'll just knock on the door.
I have it. But my whole point is, stuff like this is something that we've been working on for years and years and years, and especially bourbon. As you know, Lemmy was a huge bourbon
mm-hmm.
lover. So, you know, sometimes I can't just shut up. I just go, hey, if you were a real fan, you would have known that this is what Lemmy has worked on his whole life, really. He wanted this to be a reality, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm not one of those that talk that way. We lost our drummer in 2009, and it's hard. A lot of people they'll always have ideas of what it could be, and you see the comments, and it's just you can't do anything about it.
No, you can't do that, and it's we are not trying to milk Motorhead. We're trying to prolong Motorhead with we're giving out new stuff like live records, live DVDs. And, there's really not any money in this, It's just to keep Motorhead alive, if you will, and prolonging the trademark of Motorhead and the music and the legend of Motorhead. That's why we're doing this. We could just have broken off, but it seems like we're not allowed to do that for our fans. They want us around in some way, shape, or form, and I agree. I really do. So I feel proud that we can continue dragging Motorhead along, because that band really deserves another 50 years in the spotlight,
Absolutely. Let's get into a little bit more Motorhead and Lemmy. Obviously, I'm a bass player. Huge inspiration Lemmy was. I was going to do a Gumball rally in 2008. He was supposed to be on it with me and the Fuel Girls. And I don't remember what happened. We didn't meet up in LA at that point, but I was really jazzed. So I want to ask you, what was the first time, and what was your first memory of meeting Lemmy?
That was a long time ago. When Lemmy passed away, we'd known each other for 34 years. So I met him at a bar in London. And I can't remember the name of the bar right now, but he used to go there all the time. And we were there, a bunch of Swedes.
We've been to the Crowbar bunch, not the Crowbar.
No, it wasn't. It was, I can't remember it. But anyway, we were down there, and I said hi to Lemmy, and of course he said hi, but he had no idea who I was. And we didn't talk very much. But that was the actual first time that we met, but he didn't remember that. I was just another dude, hanging out over his shoulder going, hey. But it must have been, I don't even know the year, but 82, maybe 81, 82. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
And so then you said, like, excuse me, you were just like, to him, probably at the time, you were like, just another guy. Lemmy had already been doing Motorhead. And then, so how did you guys actually come together? When did Lemmy come to you and said, let's do this?
Well, I was touring with Motorhead with the band King Diamond.
King Diamond, yes.
Yeah, and that was, we did a tour in Europe with Motorhead, and they had some problems with Filthy. He was playing on that tour, and Lemmy asked me, in a non-direct way, if I was interested, in maybe to play with Motorhead, but I also in non-direct way turned him down because we were happy and we did really good with King Diamond, and I knew that I wasn't ready for this band, especially after that tour. I realized this is not just a band. This is an institution. I needed to earn my stripes before I joined that kind of band. And I was very happy with playing with King. And we were a bunch of friends and we did great. And but we kept contact over the years. And Lemmy kept calling and sending postcards. And we kept contact. And that was nice. And then at another point, he asked me again what I was doing. And that was, I was also in King Diamond at that point. And we were about to kick off, I think, the then tour in America, 1988. And I couldn't jump this ship.
Okay.
And a third time he asked me, not directly, but, what are you doing, Mickey? And I said, well, we're going on tour with Dokken. I, at that point, had left King, and we had a 12-month tour with Don. There's Peter Baltes from Accept on bass, John Norum guitar, Billy White from Watchtower,
Shit, all
and John from Europe. Yeah, it was kind of an all-star lineup. And we had a 12-month touring ahead of us. And obviously I had to say kind of, well, we're going on tour. But I barely made it back from that tour. And we spoke again. And he said, can you come to Hollywood and record a couple of songs? And I said, yeah, no problem. And then we started talking. And I said, the Dokken thing is kind of falling apart a little bit because everybody's going separate ways here. And he said, do you want to do the tour with us? We're going out with Ozzy. And I said, fuck yeah, let's do it. And
how much fun was that tour? Can you tell me a little bit about that first tour and how and what kind of shenanigans you guys got into?
Well, it was a crazy tour, I'm telling you. We were on that tour for a while. It was the what's it called? The last tour he was going to do. No More Tears.
No More Tears, yeah. Okay.
And then we stepped from that tour to Guns N' Roses Metallica Stadium tour and did some shows with those guys.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I was just with my oldest brother the other day, and my middle brother got to go to that show when it came through here in Southern California. My mother said I was too young, and I was fucking, to this day, I'm fucking pissed. Because I remember that lineup, and I wanted so badly to go to that fucking show.
We did Coliseum and the Rose Bowl in LA area.
Oh, yeah. I'm very familiar. I will never let my mom hear it down at this point.
Well, she was just a caring mom. But anyway, after that, we were just basically hooked up, and it was so much fun. And I felt that I could make a difference in the band, I added something to the boys, and they added to me as well, because the different music styles I've been going through, I felt I belong in the heavier division, and it didn't get much heavier than that, basically. And such nice camaraderie with Versal and Phil and Lemmy and me. We clicked perfect, and it's very important for me to feel that I can make a difference in this band. I'm not just a background drummer. Hey, just sit there and play and shut up. I wanted to be involved, and Lemmy was such a great guy. He pushed us always. He did not want to be in the spotlight alone. Even if he was Lemmy Motorhead, he was the boss, of course. But he wanted us to be a front person on each position, if you will. And like interviews, if they asked for Lemmy, he said, no, it's me, it's the band or nothing,
That's great.
And that's what I believe made Motorhead to such a strong unity, that you really felt that Lemmy backed you up. Because a lot of journalists, they didn't give a shit about maybe me, new guy, come in, looking like a fucking, I should have played with some glam band or something, but Lemmy was always pushing us. No, it's the band or nothing. And that's the type of guy he was. He wanted everybody to be comfortable and absolutely their best on each position. So he was never pushing anybody down because you took too much space, or he was just enjoying the more fame anybody could actually, or success that we could reach,
Yeah. And the more, and obviously it's a great model because, the better you guys do, the bigger everything, you're all better together, right?
We all pulled in one direction, basically, and that's what's so important,
So you mentioned your time with King Diamond before this, and legendary band, and you mentioned that you guys were friends. Where did you guys start King Diamond together?
In Denmark. I played with a band called Geisha. We were half Swedish, half Danish, and we were kind of based up here in Gothenburg, Sweden. But me and the guitar player Pete Black, which joined King Diamond '88, we called him in. we moved to Copenhagen and start collaborating with this band Geisha.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, we got really good friends with Timmy Hansen, the bass player in Merciful Fate, Michael Denner, and King, and Hank Sherman. Actually, the Merciful Fate guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then they came to me and said that they're going to split up, and King and Timmy and Michael are going to form King Diamond. And would you like to play drums there? And I said, absolutely, yes. And then I called in Andy LaRocque, which still is in the band,
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we started. We became really good friends in Copenhagen and hanging out, drinking, and having fun.
Did you guys hang out at Tivoli, the Tivoli circus?
Tivoli? Nah, well, that's an amusement park, but we were hanging out. We were hanging out in the bars.
The bar's right outside, right?
Yes, exactly.
I like Tivoli. I've had a couple birthdays out there, and it is an amusement park. But there's a couple places where you're in the middle of November and it's fucking freezing ass cold, but you could go in there and find like a gigantic fucking. It's not a pint. It's like a 32-ounce glass of beer. And I fucking absolutely love that place.
Yeah, chugging it. No, it's a great city to be in, and we enjoyed it tremendously. And then from there, we moved to U.S., to L.A., Our first area was Canoga Park, actually.
Okay.
That's where we all lived. And then King moved to Dallas, and the kind of band I left and joined Dokken, and then the rest,
Yeah, I mean, going through it, you played with so many people, and of course, we already talked about the Scorpions now too. I mean, where did you get your chops on everything? What was your inspiration to pick up the sticks for the first time?
Well, the first time, I was just 4 years old or something, but that was my uncle and my cousin, because they play drums, and my uncle started a band out here in Sweden called the Drifters in the 50s. So they obviously
there's a different Drifters, right?
Yeah, not what you have over there, but anyway, they inspired me first because they play drums, and I had a chance to bang on their stuff as a little boy, and from there on, and my cousin, which is a few years older than me, 6 years, he was into, Cream and Johnny Winter and hard rock more. And that's where I got stuck with these guys big time. And that was it. I saw Deep Purple first time when I was 7. So
what was your as a musician, when you're learning the craft, you're transcribing a lot of things. I know that from myself. I'm transcribing Les Claypool. I'm transcribing you name it, bass players. And for you, who were you transcribing when you were growing up? Like, who you put on the record, and you're like, I need to learn how to play this. Like, who was it for you?
Well, the inspiration. Obviously, I couldn't play what I wanted to play, but most of all was Ian Pace in Deep Purple.
Nice.
He was my biggest hero, and then John Bonham, of course, but later Neil Peart in Rush, Brian Downey in Lizzy,
Lizzy, love that.
Steve Smith in Journey, a lot of great drummers at the time, and
Mm-hmm.
I was still am huge fan of Blue Oyster Cult, and UFO. So
wow, your name is.
I was very early listening to the hard rock bands, in the early, mid, and late 70s. That's where, and for a while, of course, I got some. When I grew a little older, I got some cover band type of gigs. They called Mikkey Dee. He sounds exactly like Ian Pace or Brian Downey, and that was great for a while. But after a while, I realized, look, I'm just a shitty version of my idols. I better start practicing here.
I love that you say that because I feel that about myself all the time. But I mean, you do a much better job than I do of impersonating my idols. You named so many guys there, and every single one of them just had these iconic, gigantic sounding drums. Like, I mean, like big sound. How do you approach sound with your drumming? Like what's your kit, and like, I mean, how big is your kick drum? Is it a 24? What do you do? Where are you working with?
No, the only time I played 24s was with Don.
Okay.
With Dokken. I've been playing 22s. I play sonar drums, and I played sonar my whole life. By coincidence, my first ever drum kit was a sonar kit. I can show you a little picture here.
Oh, I'd love that.
If you follow me on Insta or Facebook, Mikkey Dee Official.
Is just for everyone at home, you can all follow Mikkey at Mikkey Dee Official and that's everywhere on your socials, right?
Yeah, Instagram and stuff. And I put out little videos and photos, but here's one, for instance. I'm gonna see if you can see this.
No, yeah, holy shit. That was you?
That's me.
Holy shit. That is fucking epic. Can you send that? Hey, Mikkey, can you send that to us on the email so we can put it in there like a little bit more proper? But I love that. Right, I could see it. I want to see it. We can put it in post a little bit better.
Of course, that on Instagram. I mean, sorry, on that was a sonar kit, and I played sonar. I have not been endorsed by sonar my whole life, of course, but I've probably been with them now since 1982.
Okay.
And Paiste cymbals,
I was going to say, you're wearing the shirt right now, Paiste, like great cymbals. There you go.
Oh, there we go. commercial. And, and Vic Firth sticks and stuff. But when you're talking about the sound, I was massively impressed in the 70s. I was a big sucker for live records. Live records was my favorite to listen to, even more than studio albums, Okay. So it just gave me something. And, Live in Dangerous, made in Japan, On Your Feet, On Your Knees with Blue Oyster Cult, 76, I believe, or 77. And Strangers in the Night, UFO, Gonzo, Ted Nugent, Capture Journey, but that was like 80s, 81 or something. Yeah. But that time was the live record, and Rush, All the World at Stage, and then Exit, Stage Left, their live stuff. And when I then later would playing live myself, I put a lot of effort into great drum sound, Every drummer does that, of course, but you learn little bits and bobs and tricks. And I believe sonar has been the absolute best drum kit to play for me, because they're not the easiest drums to play, because in the 80s, they were very, very heavy, a lot of the stuff we played. Very thick shells. And
does that mean you have to bang on it? Would that mean you have to bang on it a little harder? Or
very hard.
Okay.
And a lot of lighter drummers, they didn't really like that, because you didn't get much response out of them, Mm-hmm. They were very heavy and solid. But once you hit them hard, they sounded like small bass drums, every drum, and I really like that. I mean, I remember
you like to hit shit.
When I joined.
You like to hit shit.
I hit shit very hard because being a drummer, it's a hitting instrument, and it's not sitting there cooking minestrone soup. You know what I mean? It's like breaking a little piece of sweat after 30 minutes on your eyebrow, I'm soaked after one song,
I love watching that, like so we have a bunch of pyro and shit, and like we've had a couple of different drummers after the Rev passed, but even with the Rev, like there's pyro all around him, and we have to like blow air conditioning at our drummers because it's like you're to your point, just fucking soaked. Like you guys are doing a marathon, while the rest of us are. I could have a drink while I'm playing, like no problem.
I know. And we can never fuck up either, you know.
Oh no, because if you fuck up, the whole thing goes down.
Yeah. No, but for me, it was very important to be hitting hard, being what would you call it? You be really firm on what you are doing. You know, it's like being a hockey goalie, or if the goalie plays great, the rest of the team is very confident. You know, they can trust the guy back there.
Yeah.
If the goal is a little shaky, the team doesn't play very well because they don't really trust the guy in the net back there. And I feel the same as a drummer. I got to be so solid and distinct, and I can't just sit and tap away. I got to show them that I'm here to really fucking go all the way, and I'm going to lead the way, and I'm going to take control, and I'm going to be in charge. And you do that with your body language and with your way to play, and that gives your band member a confidence, I believe, that Mickey knows what he's doing. He's not going to fall out or miss this or do that, or what the hell did he do there? It has to be very solid, distinct decisions on the drums, and that will create a nice, calm deal, and it's easy for your bandmates to really lock into you and to catch your feelings. So that's kind of how I, from the beginning, felt that I'm not a fucking minestrone chef, you know what I mean? Cooking soup, and all the drums are very comfortably set up, It's supposed to hurt when you play drums. And for me, it's very important when I hit that.
I'm going to tell Brooks this, by the way. It needs to be. He needs
Sorry?
to hit a little. Brooks, our drummer, and it's supposed to hurt when you drum. I'm gonna look back at him next time we get back on the stage. I'm just going. It's supposed to hurt when you play.
Yeah, it does. But the same thing goes with your angles when you play. I worked very hard with having the right angles, keeping my shoulders. My drums keep me sitting up instead of like a fucking Z, or and shoulders down. You have to sit up.
As you're talking about it, I'm like, let me fix my posture real quick. Let me get back into it.
Well, you know what I mean. If you're going to do 200 shows a year, it's very important that you play the right way. It's like, or you will catch problems with your joints and back problem and shoulder problems and wrist problems.
Have you had issues with like carpal tunnel or just like the forearms tightening up?
Yeah, they tighten up, but I know what to do when that happens. But no, knock on wood, but no, nothing major. I mean, yes, I had tours where I felt that I could have a little bit of pain in somewhere, but I have to figure that out very, very quick. Maybe the hi-hat was half an inch too high or too low.
Okay.
That could be a disaster for me. Or the ride cymbal, or I like to really stretch out when I'm playing, to hit from above, not from within,
Okay.
My toms are fairly angled up, so it forced me to hit from above. And of course, I'm not that kind of a fast drummer. You look at some of these studio cats that have the drums more correctly set up to be able to play everything on them. Yes, that works for these guys, but for me, I like to maybe play less and play harder and hit it the right way for me to be able to do 200 shows a year.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's interesting. You say that. You say like the right way versus your way. It's like it's so funny because you're selling yourself short a little bit. Not so much as just, for me. I feel the same way. It's like, I'm not the greatest bass player that's ever lived or anything like that, but I work for Avenged Sevenfold. That's where I get it done. Could I go somewhere else? Probably not. I think this is the only gig I got.
No, but you'd be surprised. I mean, for me, it's been a lot of people ask me this actually, but if you take King Diamond, Dokken, Motorhead, now Scorpions, they have come in the right time in my life, and where I, for instance, by the end of King Diamond, I felt as a very narrow drummer because all I could do was all this stuff. I felt a lot of stress and backbeats and technical drum fills and ripping apart certain songs I felt at the time. Because when we moved out to California, I started jamming with if you would call them regular musicians, more rocking out, you know, jamming cover songs of Zeppelin and Deep Purple again, and you know, and I felt stressed, and I felt that my meter wasn't where it's supposed to be, and I wanted to become wider. And the Dokken thing was the perfect thing for me to step from King Diamond with. I learned a lot how to just sit and rock out, and then after a few years with Don, I felt that this is great, but I do belong in the heavier division. Mm-hmm. I am a heavier drummer. And then suddenly again, Motorhead was the right time to join, you know. And after 25 years with Motorhead, there's no secret that we felt in the end maybe we wanted to do something else. Mm-hmm. Either do a solo record or be inspired with something else, because with Motorhead we had a very tight frame to work within, which was Motorhead. And sometime me and Phil could write some music and Lemmy come in and go, what the hell do you want me to sing to that? That song is more aimed to Rush, you know. We're not Rush, we're Motorhead, you know. And he was totally right by that, you know. Maybe we took off a little too much out of the framework of being Motorhead.
Did you ever, when you guys are writing that though, was there ever reining it back and like maybe taking that project or that song, whatever it is, that riff, maybe it is too proggy, maybe it is too Rush. How do we bring it back to Motorhead, or did it just start from scratch again?
Basically, because when we wrote and being a little over creative, it was great riffs, but that song was meant for something else, basically. Sometimes I'm sure we took a riff and changed it a little bit and made it more Motorhead. And you know, when Lemmy put his bass on and start cranking it, I thought pretty much every song sounded Motorhead. You know?
Once it goes through the Lemmy, once it goes through the Lemmy filter, it's all fucking Motorhead.
he motorized it big time, you know.
Motorized it. I love that.
You know, we did a few songs that are very different, like Sacrifice, that I wrote basically, and that's not a typical Motorhead song.
No.
Tragedy is not a typical song. We made I would say at least 10, 15 songs that were not very typical Motorhead. And that was great. Lemmy loved it, you know, and we loved it. And but sometimes I have to say that personally, I walked out a little too much in one direction, both me and Phil maybe sometimes, and we just had to come back. And after 25 years with that, and then join Scorpions, it was like it's just perfect, because I can use my power in Scorpions and I can rock out, and I can also add some of my experience, everything from the old King Diamond to Motorhead, to give them an extra push and to take the band to 11, if you will. You know, that's what I like to do.
I love that. And I love that you're talking about the Scorpions and how heavy hitting. Of course, everyone knows the song "Rock You Like a Hurricane." I mean, you're in the band now. I mean, they did this before you, and now back to your slamming the drums on it. Like, you guys have you rehearsed that song? You guys played that song? Have you been in there where you're just slamming the shit out of da-da-da, I mean, like, what's that song like versus some of the other songs for you? Is that hard?
Well, it's one of these songs to have in your sleeve, like we had Ace of Spades.
Yeah.
Well, with Motorhead, we did almost 5,000 shows together. Sure. And obviously a few of those could be a little slower, and maybe we didn't get the right response, or there's not many of those. But every time we played Ace of Spades, the house went nuts.
That's the big pop, as they say.
And the same goes, Scorpion has so many hits but that's just one of them. And we've been finishing the set with Hurricane. And of course, what's going to happen. Once Rudolph Mathias starts off the riff, people go crazy in the hall, So it's always good to have a great song like that. Like Lemmy used to say, he was so happy that he wrote Ace of Spades. And it's such a good song that he stuck to the rest of his career. He said, can you imagine these bands that wrote a shit song that became the biggest hit? And
now we got to go out and play it every fucking night.
Right. And it's actually a pretty shitty song,
Yeah.
That became a hit because of the right time or right TV series or whatever,
No, it's a very valid point. There's a lot of circumstantial shit that goes into that can often go into a hit. Everyone likes to ask the question, well, what about this one hit wonder? What about this? It's like, no, but listen, they were still musicians. Like, listen to the rest of their catalog and base it off of that. Don't base it off of the one song that hit at the right time and the music video had some fucking whatever big gimmicks.
So, no, he was totally right there, and I think that was great, and of course Ace of Spades, you could be tired of playing that, especially if you have 5 shows in a row. I mean, you knew kind of Ace.
Did you guys do a lot of back-to-backs? Did you guys do a lot of back-to-backs when you said 5 shows in a row? You did a lot of back-to-backs, huh?
When we were young bucks, we did, but even in the end with Motorhead, and even when Lemmy being a little sick, we could do 3 shows in a row, 1 day off, which always was a travel day, so it wasn't a day off.
It's not really, yeah.
And then 2, and then travel, and 3, travel, 2, and 3. But in the end there, so Motorhead was always on the road and we enjoyed playing more shows during the week than being off,
Mm-hmm.
And but to have these songs is great. Scorpions wrote some fantastic hits, and it's great to have them in the set.
No, absolutely. You get that big jump. You just mentioned though, traveling and travel days. A lot of people who are listening to the show they're not on the side that we've been on of what a travel day looks like. I want to know what a travel day. I mean, I know what it looks like in the 90s and 2000s. What did a travel day look like for you guys in the 80s? Like, I mean, I've been in the Econo van. I've been out in Europe for my first time where we're facing each other in this little van and all the gear's literally in the trunk behind it. But I mean, how was it for you guys? Take me through a little bit of your early travel days.
Well, my early travel days with a Swedish band and stuff, I mean, it's the same thing. You've been in vans and cars, but when we really start touring properly was with King Diamond, obviously. We hired 2 Southwind RVs.
I'm not familiar with the Southwinds. Oh no, wait, actually it just went across my head where I could see it on the side of the. Okay, yeah, Southwind. Gotcha.
Right. We had 2 of those. One for our crew, which was a very small crew, and then one for the for the 5 of us and our tour manager, Ole. And that's how we toured. In 1988, we had a real tour bus, the Green Machine. People said Beatles were traveling in that. So it was an old honker, really. But it was the first
Are we
time.
talking about a double decker?
No,
single.
No.
Okay.
It was a single decker, and I don't remember. It must have been a Florida Eagle or a Van Hole or something, but
okay.
It was definitely not a Prevost. It was an old honker, an old beater, but it was the first tour we did with a proper tour bus and a proper driver. With the RVs, we took turns driving this.
I was just going to ask, how often? I was always the one, because I was younger than everyone else. When it came time to drinking and everyone's drinking, all right, Johnny, it's your turn to drive the van. Like, how often was your number called?
I like to drive. I enjoy traveling through the night, and especially in the U.S. I miss it. I like to be on the road,
Driving in Europe versus driving in the U.S. There's a difference, right? What do you prefer?
Yeah. It's so different. I mean, after a 4-month-long tour in U.S., you miss Europe. And after you've done Europe for 2.5 months, you can't wait to get to U.S. So,
it's a real
it's the grass is always greener on the other side, right?
Yeah.
It's that's how it is, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. So you just turned on your light. So are you in Gothenburg right now?
Right.
Awesome. And how are things going? Like, do you have any wind of when shows are coming back and all that fun noise that everyone else has asked you about, I'm sure?
No, I don't, because, as I said, Scorpion is such a huge party.
I'm glad you brought that up.
That we have a hard time just packing up doing one-offs. I'm sure, the boys are deciding this, and once I'm sure, I don't know, but I really hope we can go on tour. I don't think I really don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just waiting
I think
myself.
that's the point. Is like no one really knows, and I don't mean to put you on the spot there, but you brought up something that's really interesting to me. Is Scorpions. It's a big look. There's a big thing going on, and a lot of people, kind of take that for granted when there's a big production band like that. They take it for granted. Like, well, I've been waiting for a show. Like, why don't you give me a show? I was like, well, give me a minute.
Well, we've been off now. We managed to do Asia and Australia last year, January, February. And that's it, and we need to rehearse. We need to build another show maybe. And I mean, we just need to get going. And
not only yourself, correct me if I'm wrong, but not only you guys in the band, what about the crew that needs to rehearse all that shit, right?
I know. It's such a big process. So, they are as anxious as I am. But the thing is, once it looks better, suddenly, then some other second or third fucking wave, and there's more alarming. I mean, every other week is they change restrictions, and they're gonna ease up now. No, we're not. We're gonna prolong that. Okay, shit. Oh, well, now it looks like everything is looking the right direction. And then 2 weeks later, you're back in the shit. So
yeah.
I don't want to speculate in this. I'm sitting here. I'm ready to go. Yeah. We all are ready to go when it's safe enough for people to come to shows, and when we are allowed to play, basically. That's what the deal is.
Yeah. No, I mean, and we're in the same boat too. But I wanted to ask, so you've been through so many bands that we've already talked about. And I just want to ask about like the marquees. Like when you've seen the marquees, like you especially in Motorhead, it kind of blurred some boundaries of some punk rock, some metal. What was some of the funniest marquees you rolled up to where you're like, we're playing with this? Like that's our marquee tonight?
What do you mean, the level or?
Oh no. Like so for instance, for Avenged Sevenfold, we did like a lot of Warped Tours, and we're kind of a heavy metal band, but we played with a lot of punk rock bands. We played all these different things. So like,
different.
What was where was some of your favorite crossover marquees, I guess?
Well, there's been so many. It's everything from absolute crazy, ridiculous bill we've been out to fantastic bills. But, over so many years now touring internationally, it's 37 years basically, and I come across pretty much every single band, bigger bands that you can mention, and most of them has been fantastic, either just some one-off shows or actually small tours or bigger tours. I mean, I wish we toured with Rainbow, but we never did that. And we toured I got to tour with Cozy Powell before he died on the Heaven and Hell tour, 94.
Okay.
Or 95, maybe it was, when Cozy played with Black Sabbath or Heaven and Hell kind of deal.
Yeah.
And it was a fantastic tour. And playing with Deep Purple now, 2 years ago we did some shows, Mexico City, 150,000 people, and, Iron Maiden, Rock in Rio, just great bands.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
Judas Priest.
You're naming. I mean, I know you've been on tour with all these bands. Some of the bands I've been on tour that have taken us under our wing. You mentioned Iron Maiden. You mentioned Metallica. All those guys, like those other drummers,
yeah.
like Lars, like Nico, like these are some really great drummers too in the genre. Do you guys ever rib it? Do you guys have like any times where you're ribbing each other while you're out on the road?
Yeah, we hang out, and I forgot to mention, least but not last, Foo Fighters. Dave Grohl. We toured. Yeah. We had a fantastic tour with Motorhead and Dave Grohl, and we are such fans of Foo Fighters. And Dave just loves Motorhead and Lemmy, honestly.
Yeah.
So, and we played London with Dave, and we did Japan with Dave, and it's so many great guys. 99.9% of these bands and people are just fantastic. And then once in a while you run into a fucking dumbass,
Like right now?
Not like right now. No, you're okay.
I'm okay. All right. Well, I've taken enough of your time. I just got to ask one last thing. Is there a story from Lemmy that you would like to share to the listeners, the fans? I'm sure you get that all the time, but maybe there's a one you haven't told before.
There's so many.
Mm-hmm.
Like Lemmy used to say, look, we're like Spinal Tap with no script. You know what I mean? Because stuff happened for us all the time. Most of it was fun, thinking back to it, but sometimes we end up in situations that were hard to solve. But it was all good, of course. There's so many that you're putting me on the spot there.
I'm trying. I'm putting my best journalist hat on right here.
Well, it's with Lemmy. He was such a fantastic man in so many ways, shapes and forms, that every day with this guy was a pleasure, because he was such a honest and real guy, you know what I mean? That you learn so much from a person like him. He was so intelligent and well educated, if you will. He was street smart, the most street smart person I ever met ever. I mean, he knew a little bit about everything basically, and that's a great quality to have, because you can talk and interact with everyone, which was very, very impressive.
No, that's amazing right there. Man, rest in peace. I'm gonna take a little Hillrock shot to Lemmy right here for all you guys at home.
Cheers.
Again, follow Mikkey Dee at Mikkey Dee Official. Go over to Motorhead, Scorpions. Maybe we'll get to see you on the road here sometime very soon. I really appreciate the time, brother. I know it was a little hard getting us together with the technical difficulties, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy. Yeah, thank you. I hope you enjoy this, and that it becomes a. How do you like the packaging, by the way?
The packaging was amazing. I opened it up. I got a nice little reveal. The box, everyone, you got to go check out this Hillrock Motorhead fucking whiskey. It's delicious. And I mean the box says it all. I mean the box is fucking rad.
The box says it all. Great.
I appreciate you so much again, Mikkey. It was so much fun talking to you. I really hope we can do this again in person, hopefully soon. I'll come out, see you guys, and have a good time. And maybe throw a couple back with you.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
I hope we can get back on the road here. Every band in the world now. We need to go and see rock shows. And to be touring and start interacting again, I'm missing it so much, but I'm sure we will soon enough.
Soon enough, in person. Everyone, cheers. Thank you again, Mikkey.
Cheers. Later.